All right, what's up, dudes? Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. We have a little bit of like a quick fire video today. I'm going to show a bunch of knives. We're talking about budget front flippers. I love front flippers. It's one of my favorite means of deployment. And you can get a really, really good front flipper on a budget. You don't have to pay up to get a front flipper that feels really good to flip, has a great detent. Um, and it's just all around a good knife. So we're gonna show, let's see, one, two, three, four. We're gonna show six budget front flippers. Now, some are on the higher end of budget. These are all under $100. Most of them are under 40. Some are under 50. I'll give you the prices as we go. First, please subscribe if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it. And if you want to, you can follow me on Instagram, duties_daggers as well. So let's talk about. Well, actually, yeah, let's start with this one. This is my favorite budget front flipper of all time. This is the Kubi Momentum. Now, this knife comes with G10. These are some aluminum scales that I have made myself and put on it. They're not perfect by any means, and I still am working out the clip, but I wanted a premium momentum so badly, I just decided to make some scales for mine. This is a fantastic knife. This is about 35 bucks if you get it in D2. And if you want some AUS 10, you can pay a little bit more at like 45. So 35 bucks for an amazing front flipper. It works so good, man. I'm telling you. I don't know what it is. I think it has to do with number one, the jimping that wraps around the top of the front flipper that gives you the traction that you need on your finger to easily flip it. Also, the way this scale is shaped right here, it's kind of cut out. So the front flipper is really exposed the whole way as the knife is opening. So you could even slow roll it from the front flipper like this if you want to. This knife also has thumb studs, which work really good. It's just a fantastic detent. You can do all the little tricks. You can do the side finger, the over the top. Kubi Momentum, man. If I'm recommending a budget front flipper, this is it. Let's talk about another Kubi, the Kubi Royal. This is a new Kubi to my collection, and it's a front flipper, and we got a deployment hole. Most of these knives have multiple means of deployment. Two only have one, being the front flipper, but you know, if I can get two means of deployment, sometimes that's even better, unless it's just a really good dedicated front flipper. It's kind of nice to have multiple means. So this is the Kubi Royal. This is a Colin Mason Pierre design, same designer behind Devo knives. It's G10 handles. We got a really nice, reverse flicking action. Nice stiff detent. Really, really nice and stiff. Excellent reverse flicker and, of course, really good front flipper. Excellent, man. This jimping that wraps around the top is so grabby. More grabby than on the Momentum. It might be some of the most grabby jimping I've ever felt on a front flipper, to be totally honest. It's on the verge of being too sharp. I might take a file to just the edges and kind of knock those down slightly. Because, man, it is just, it really grips your thumb so well. This is kind of I'd call this on the smaller side of a medium-sized knife. About a 3-inch blade. Just really excellent detent. Nice and smooth drop. Pocket clip is deep carry. Not inset, but we got flat-headed screws on there. Pretty decent clip. This is a great one, man. And this is about 35 bucks as well. I'm going to link all these down below if you guys want to go check them out. All right. Let's talk about kind of a little bit of a funky one. This is from a knife brand called Xtuke. My first experience with them was on a button lock, and I actually really liked it. This is kind of a budget knife brand that's on Amazon. I'm sure if you guys have looked for knives on Amazon, you see these probably popped up. But I saw this one on there, and I reached out to them to see if they would send it to me because I thought it looked really interesting. And it actually really is interesting, man. We have a really oversized pivot, which actually I kind of like. I think it adds to just the whole aesthetic of the knife. Really deep carry pocket clip, and it actually wraps around and goes behind the scale. So there's nothing to snag your pocket on there. It is reversible as well. I think that's really cool. So we have this really weird front flipper. It's just a little tab sticking out. We usually don't see that. And we have a regular flipper. Sheep's foot blade. Really, really smooth. Not the greatest detent ever. It's on the lighter side, but I think it has to be for the front flipper. The front flipper actually works really well. You might not think it would, but basically you don't put your finger on top of it. You put your thumb like right in front of that little tab and just pull back, and it flips out really well. Yeah, I just thought this was kind of a weird, interesting one. I like the blade shape. It's D2 blade steel. I think this one's right around 30 bucks as well. Xtuke. I don't even know what it's called, but it's the Xtuke, and I'll link it down below. All right, Petrified fish. We can't talk about budget front flippers without talking about the Beluga. This is the mini Beluga, my favorite Beluga. A large one is just much larger than this one, I think too big. This is really a perfect EDC knife size. Same kind of pocket clip as on the Xtuke. It wraps around and goes behind the scale, so it's really deep carry. Same thing where you don't have anything to catch on your pocket seam. G10 handle scales. There's a bunch of different handle options. I saw a really cool one with yellow G10 at Blue Creek Knives. Maybe I'll link that one. Front flipper works really, really good. It's kind of a smaller front flipper tab, but it just works really, really well. Just pops out, man. And you have a fuller that runs almost the full length of the blade. And I found that it's easier to actually flick it with this finger instead of your middle finger. I kind of get it right down there at the way down. It just flicks out really easy. You could do it with this finger too, but it's kind of, for some reason I have a little bit of difficulty getting in there sometimes. I can do it, but it's just not as reliable as, well, yeah. The full-size one actually has a little bit better access to this fuller, but like I said, I like the size of this one much, much better. And honestly, I don't use this fuller very much because the front flipper is just really good. I mean, you can hear that thing snapping out with authority. This one is really nice and thin behind the edge too. We have a drop point blade with a bit of belly. So if you're doing utility cuts, you're going to have to raise up pretty significantly to get to the tip. But this is a good slicer, man. Pretty thin blade stock, thin behind the edge. It's a good one, man. This is a legendary budget knife, and for good reason. Really, really ergonomic too. Whoops. All right, now we got to talk about some Civivis. Civivi makes one of my favorite small, little kind of, not CEO style, but like gentleman's carry knives. And I have two of them here. The first one being the Civivi Lumi. This is a Justin Lundquist design, and I absolutely love it. This is one of my favorite Civivis. I have a milled titanium clip on mine. It comes with just a regular deep carry one, but you can get these titanium Civivi clips on Amazon. I'll link them down below as well. I think they're like 12 bucks, maybe 14 bucks, but it really classes up your Civivi. And this one has a top flipper. Really kind of a unique design. The blade is all the way inside the handle when it's closed. And the way this front flipper works, you can use it just like a regular front flipper like that, but how I like to do it is like this. It's so much fun, dude. You just place your finger on top. The jimping is nice and grabby, so you don't really even have to really push down that hard. Put your finger on top, pull back, and it just pops out. It's so nice, man. And the regular, you know, there's both ways to open this knife, like this and over the top, are really satisfying for some reason. I think it's just because it's done really well. This blade is so light, it just pops out really fast. It's just fun, man. This is a really pokey blade too, like insanely pokey. It's hollow ground, very thin blade stock. This is a slicer, man. Nice stonewash on the blade too. This is just really cool, man. This is kind of just a classy, very lightweight, just package destroyer, you know? The Civivi Lumi. And lastly, another Civivi, my favorite small little front flipper, the Civivi McKenna. Now this is kind of a fancier version in aged copper and Damascus. But you can get this knife in G10 and believe Nitro V for a bit cheaper. This one's not even that bad. It's like around 85 bucks. But I think the G10 one's like around 60. This is just such a cool design, man. This is an Elijah Isham design. If you're familiar with his work, then you instantly recognize this knife. Um, it's a little wacky and eccentric, and I love it, man. The front flipper, gosh, it is. This is the easiest front flipper to use ever. Something about it, the way the jimping wraps around the top, the way that it's angled, and you just get, I don't know, man, you get so much leverage, and it's so easy to pop out. It just really, really pops out so easy. You can do the over the top. You could do the side of your finger, however you want to do it. This has a very thin measurement behind the edge. One of the thinnest in my entire collection, actually, at like 12 thousandths. Just very, very slicey. This one also, I put the same titanium clip on it. Just a blacked out version of that clip. See right there. I love this thing. Really, really love it. So there you go. There's some budget front flippers for you. If you're new to the front flipper, world of knives, I would recommend any of these for if you're looking for your first one. The Momentum probably is the easiest one to learn on. But if you're a little more experienced with front flippers, I mean, any of these you can learn on, absolutely. But the easiest to learn on might be the Momentum here. But they're all really, really good. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Front flippers are the shit, dude. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace and love.